few kills.
He did say in the interview yesterday he was going to bring out that Moby LeBlanc for us. Let's see if he can get himself around the map. It has been tough for him. He knows. He'll play along with it. But see if he can write that as well. 17.3% for Lee Sin. Looks like he gets to add some onto that. Heimerdinger.
Yeah.
Being noticed.
Hasn't been banned in the North American LCS until this game. There were some European LCS bans getting hit in for him just because Heimerdinger is a little absurd on the 4.4 patch. You kind of leave it at that. That would have been a Quas pick in the top lane.
Wouldn't doubt it. He's the one who ventured in different champions.
Ramus also
getting
hasn't been banned
out as well. Yeah, they're going for can we find 0% support bans? Or not support bans, but bans in general.
What hasn't been banned in the LCS before? Let's do that.
Lucian actually has not found himself on the ban list too often.
No, he's always the fallback AD carry for people.
Yep.
But it's something that Double should be picking. CLG with the trifecta, going sans bans.
Looking at Quas here. Saying what?
Maybe the Heimer ban wasn't legitimate. I feel like it was. Quas had a reaction after the Heimer ban, but not so much after the Poppy one.
Always know Yacht. Yacht likes to play that Ramus. Maybe they're taking after him. Let's see what Quas has. 34 seconds as Curse is figuring out what to pick, and you have to consider with CLG banning these, that leaves a lot of what we usually see banned open.
This was all an elaborate ploy so Dexter could get Kha'Zix. You have to leave something up that is considered more powerful than Kha'Zix in order to get him on your team from red side of the map. I'm going to go with that one.
I was just talking a little bit about Lynx Nidalee. You may see that, as we do see the Lulu coming in, trying to stay safe in the mid lane. We've seen Golden Glue playing a little bit of Orianna to keep that wave clear up, but we're on the side of CLG. What are they throwing, or Curse rather, what are they throwing in for their 4th and 5th pick here?
Yeah, well, at least they got the Lulu, so they can go any direction with that. Lulu is pretty much good at everything in the mid lane, which is why she's banned so often and then immediately first picked. She has received heavy nerfs in the 4.5 patch, but that is not the patch we were playing LCS on this week. Of course, we were on 4.4. Just showing one. Curse, however, it's very important to get a strong bot lane against CLG.
You see Cloud9 doing a lot of Corki karma, but it's going to be Curse with a Caitlyn karma after a little bit of a wait.
Yeah. CLG has typically went with very move speed heavy team compositions during most of their success. So taking karma away is actually pretty wise. They can stack the karma move speed with the Lulu move speed and move fast.
Move real fast. Definitely able to catch a Vayne out. Guys mentioned yesterday, I believe it was Kobe and Freak, or Freak and you actually would have been, that mentioned, you mentioned it, the Double Lift and Afro are now choosing the Thresh lane and Lucian lane because they've lost to it so much. And you can see that Curse realized that as well. They kind of took the Thresh out of the composition, forcing Counter Logic now into a LeBlanc for Link, which would probably be that lock-in. And the Quinn's a little bit of a hover here.
LeBlanc against a Lulu would be...
That's kind of the reason Lulu came about.
Yeah, it would be a very bold matchup for Link to pick into.
Ooh.
Looks like he's going to end up going with it, though. So expect a lot of roaming from Link. He's probably going to try and shove Lulu as best he can, even though Lulu outshoves him. And then roam help. Or they're really going to pick on mid lane, since Lulu shoves frequently, and try and take him out of the game with LeBlanc, silence, and burst.
That Jinx. Think about the 2v1.
Absolutely.
Themselves forced up.
Shove extremely fast with Jinx. It's the hyper carry style that Doublelift would like to play. However, somewhat vulnerable to dive, but when you look at the Curse composition, there's very limited dive potential as of now, which makes you wonder what the last top lane pick is going to be, whether he can get onto Jinx's face.
Oh man, I would not put this past Quas and would really see if he can get that split push on hard. People have talked about the Swain. He shows the bird, but is it the word? Will he lock it in? Seeing what they have. 2 more picks here, 10 seconds. The Renekton is still on the board. Quas actually has not fared too well going back to a regular pick. It's always what he brings outside the box and innovates with that really puts him in the advantageous position.
I'd say of the conventional top lane champions, though, his best is Renekton. Now Nien has to pick into that. Shyvana's up for him if he wanted to go with that.
Yeah.
That would be the logical pick for Nien. All of his champions are really up here, whether it be Ryze, Trundle,
got a lot.
Shyvana. Or, since this game does not affect COD's playoff implications, it's time to get some stage comfort with a new pick. against Renekton, who beats pretty much everyone in lane, so it would be tough training conditions.
What is the smile for? What is this?
Pull it out. You can do it, man. You could pick Maokai top. Go for it.
Level 1 sap. Oh wait, that's the future.
I tried to convince Aframu to play support Maokai for quite a while. He was not having it. There we go.
All right.
That's a good one. It's a good one. That's what Balls played against him.
Yeah.
Shen fits the COD playstyle. It also makes the Jinx pick much safer for double lift. Yen has played it in the past, just not so far this split.
Yeah. We've seen Shens when they come out now and they have like 5-6 kills at the end of the game. They're ones carrying the one lane that they're in, and we're like, what is happening? But we'll see if Nien can do it in the top lane. We know his Trundle went pretty crazy last time. Shen's not really the one to bully out and win a lane. We'll have to see how that goes. Chronologic Gaming now versus Curse. We remember if Curse loses this one, Dig is able to solidify that position in fourth. So a lot of implications here.
Yeah, well, the implication is mainly the side choice for their playoff series, and also the amount of wins they have at the end of the season. I don't know where I was going with that, Riv.
All right, as teams load into the game, let's take a look at the voting from LOLesports.com, because you are all awesome and participate with your voting and the left mouse button. 81% of you are tipping this one in favor of Counter Logic Gaming. Came up on the screen before I said it. So.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, man. Your vote doesn't count, Riv.
I know.
Yeah. But right now, obviously, CLG big favorites. Everyone is considering CLG to be in that tier that TSM Cloud9 exists in, and Curse is trying to knock them out. Really, all these teams that are in Curse's shoes want to be part of that club, right? And they really just haven't been for the past many weeks of the LCS. It's really just been those top three beating up on the rest of the league, which is why the standings are so disparaging. But Curse has looked pretty good in the last few days, and they're getting close.
It reminds me of the Caster comics, where everybody's kind of in the middle, chasing everybody up front. Yeah. They're running, but it's
There's
just so...
the three way out in front.
They can't get to it, but this last Super Week gives them a chance. We'll go over some hurdles here and see if they can get themselves any closer to that front position. Right now, Chronologic Gaming versus Curse. We are well within Super Week now, and we are well onto the Rift to get into this matchup.
Right on. Aframu, of course, with his Health Crystal start. It's his go-to on Thresh. He loves getting Sightstone as quickly as possible. Then he generally goes Mobility Boots, and then he will pick up his Ancient Coin. So he doesn't go for big-time gold generation options. He goes for Tower Shoving and Vision Control early, which will then give his team gold. It's a good thing he warded that.
Bunny Fufu quickly taking Q, but this means they know it's only Bunny. Go for the flash.
Yep.
And the hook. Missing out on that one, but that's 1 for 1 on supports.
Support hard mode. Neither one gets flash. Aframu initiated that. It was a must flash away for Bunny once Afro flashed. No real danger, though, outside of the flash trade.
30 seconds.
I do like it, though, with the safety of the Thresh Lantern. You do, with the Karma pickup, now have the safety of that shield, so you can go hard on that first bit of health and not worry about losing it. Bunny Fufu now joins with the team after regrouping and patching himself up a little bit. It looks like they're going for somewhat of a late invade, but we already have a back here. Looks like they might have just been kind of personal sentry on the area.
Well, if the Jinx pick is any indication...
It'll be a ward in, yeah.
It will be a very quick shove in that top lane. Now, here's the question I've been asking people.
Ask away.
Riv. Since all of these pro teams are doing 3-man stacks in lanes and shoving as quickly as possible, they then have their top laner, like Yen here, for instance. He's going to go jungle for the first bit of the game once his lane gets shoved. Why not just have the actual laner be part of the 3-man stack and let the actual jungler jungle? Why do they have the jungle pushing the lane all the time instead of the top laner doing it? Then you can actually just summon your spells positively. I think that's the next step.
We'll have to see. They're just adapting every time it changes, and right now this is what the teams really know to be doing. The switch up could come at any time, though. We see Dexter taking the blue, so far orthodox from what we've seen when they want to swap it up and give each other a hard time. We heard Crumbs kind of saying that it's the increase in gold. Everybody wants that item a lot faster, so if they do go for the turret pushes, we'll see who uses that gold better.
Yeah, obviously the junglers do use their smites to get the double buffs, and then they would continue jungling, whereas the laner would just go to lane level 2. Someone will tell me why they do it this way, but I don't agree with it. Double buffs taken by both guys, obviously. They did the counter steal because they're just going where their strong duo lane is, so they have backup. And there's a lot of actual roaming going on. It's actually CLG not brute forcing down those turrets extremely quickly. Aphromoo was just scouting out. Aphromoo was actually hoping to catch Quas jungling and maybe pick up an easy kill on Thresh. Quas was too far away though.
Aphromoo still level 1. You are completely right about that. And Quas is at the race, hitting himself at level 2. Curse now onto the bottom turret. Going to be nice with Dominate being down there. Frenzy on as he gets a ward for safety. Just a little past him. Looks like they're going to get this turret some good damage.
Yep. Jinx, however, with the crazy amount of minigun attack speed bonus right now, taking that turret down a little bit faster.
This is going to be a race now that who can get to the inhibitor turrets before 4. These guys are always trying to put the bar a little bit higher on these takedowns.
It's going to be relatively close. Obviously, Curse is ahead because their turret dies faster, because CLG was pretty lackadaisical about jumping on that turret early. All things considered, though, this is most likely just going to be a even two-turret trade.
Karma also really great on the wave clear in these 2v1s. Those Qs coming out doing quite a bit of damage. They're already on the 2nd tier turret. They're going to have a good bit of a lead here. Getting out nicely. Quas just trying to a little bit of distraction as they go for the 2nd.
Cute top laners trying to get a little bit of experience. It's the saddest of affairs for these guys.
All right, well, at least CLG stays on top. 2 for 2 on the turrets. 4 minutes, 20 seconds into the game. Gold's just about even with those turrets down, but now here's the extra gold. What are they going to do with it? It looks like Chronologic Gaming is going to stay for a little bit. They are going to force the move on Curse here.
Yeah, doing this is... Ooh. We thought maybe he was going to get something.
So close.
Forcing the early dragon.
Yep.
Obviously, the early dragon is actually only worth 650 gold, though. So it's nice. It's a nice chunk of gold. It's much like picking up First Blood, but nothing more than that. But also give them the respawn time.
There's a click on it. Link's trying to get himself positioned for a nice chain onto Voidboy in the mid lane. Dexter just waiting, holding his breath to get down in this gank. Curse grabbing a good dragon to put themselves up on gold a little bit. Like you said, it's not that much. Overall, 300.
Yeah, because while they were off doing the dragon, Doublelift picked up about 200 gold in minions just from the lane. That gives him an edge over top of Comp, and he's going to try and use that to his advantage. Now CLG is faster on the next rotation because they didn't have to recall from the dragon.
Oh, zippy indeed, Voidboy! Needs the zippy and flash out of that one. Keeps himself safe. He still has Ignite coming up if anybody gets dove under the turret, so they may be able to come up with something.
I'd say Thresh hooks still count as successful if they force a flash. Even if he didn't land them, I'd say Aphromoo got a really high percentage today. 2 flashes forced already.
Voidboy does back off the situation, now leaving Cop, who's got some Zerker Greaves on, going for that auto attack based as they try to get to this next turret in the game. Level 4 for Cop. Everybody's quite low on farm too. That's one of the things you notice when they swap the lanes like this, is mid farm usually stays the same, but outside in those lanes, they are down in farm.
Well, mid farm is completely isolationist. So we didn't get to see the battle because we were tracking the back and forth, but Link has actually came out ahead early on against Voidboy, which is quite an accomplishment in itself against Lulu. He started with the Crystalline Flask to withstand some of the early harassment. Dominate's not let him go back.
Really great play there. I like how Cop can get himself into that situation in front of the turret. Bunny Fufu has the shield, or you can speed him up to get him out of a bad spot, along with Voidboy providing the same thing. They can double up on these shields and speed. Listen to Zap. Minion was hiding behind the turret. He didn't really get a Zap out of that, but they're still clearing out what they need. Give the turret some breathing room. Finally, Curse doing a very good job of kind of organizing after this whole to-do on the turrets and top and bottom.
Yeah, Curse can actually play this game pretty well, as they're showing right here. Even though CLG were kind of doing these fast rotations before everyone else started doing them, obviously the trinket changes have pushed it a little bit farther in that direction because it's very difficult to scout people at the start of the game, and lane swaps are more prevalent because of that. But Curse matching CLG very, very well on this. Aphromoo takes a lot of damage.
There's a big hit for something that might have gotten them a kill as well. Going for that high risk, high reward play. Doesn't come out just in their favor. Coming up onto 8 minutes. It doesn't look like we're leaving the mid lane anytime soon. And that is for Curse. CLG is already trying to get out the pressure on these side lanes, get the split push for Nien in. He doesn't really have to get to these fights. Quas is the one to teleport in, but he's not bringing a shield, so it's going to be quite interesting. Oh, forcing the flash.
Did it again.
It's another hook. Successful.
Flashed himself, however. It's very low, just trying to get them off of that turret while Link is off trying to get farm. You can see Link has channeled a lot more farm than Voyboy has, because Voyboy was with the team pushing, whereas Link was off to the side. So that bit of turret damage, CLG effectively sacrificed it so that Link could get more farm.
It's a very good point. Not something we see. Usually everybody just stays mid and shares it.
It's actually not very like CLG this season. They, especially in their victory against TSM, were the ones taking more turret damage over farm for individuals. But this game, they went another direction.
Quas able to soak up minions in the bottom lane, 47 to 64 there, as Nian really hasn't found any trouble and should not on Shen. Voyboy is pretty much waiting on a full freeze here in the top lane as he's trying to get back the CS that Link has just been soaking up.
It's curious how Curse was shoving the mid lane so hastily, yet now they're freezing the side lane. This actually opens up an opportunity for CLG to just shove down mid lane and get it back. Make up their mind what they're going to do.
CLG already getting the wards in just in front of the turret so they can keep an eye on where Curse is trying to flank or engage from. Already saw an early dragon coming from Curse, so it looks like they're trying to clear that. 2-minute clock just comes up, so it looks like everybody's going to start hovering around mid, and bottom is already in the position that they want to be for this fight, so they will stay down. And the hook misses from Afromu. Everybody waiting on 6. It's been a slow game so far with the 2 turrets going down, but CLG pretty much looking to lock down mid turret here. We see the rotation from Link coming down.
One thing I will say about games that have been playing out like this, where there's heavy rotations for the first 10 or 15 minutes and basically objective trading from team to team, is the team fights are often very explosive. Only because the laning phase didn't really differentiate the team's gold totals or farm values that much, since these teams are actually getting quite good at matching each other's rotations. So the first team fight actually happens with many more items than you're used to seeing.
A lot of flashes this game. And repelled again, hits out the minion. Doesn't look like they're going to be able to actuate much onto this. Quas is going to be trying to take out the blue here. Very nicely played. That's going to be huge for Link if he can take that.
Yeah, Curse is doing the better job at rotating right now. It seems like every time Link is in the top lane, Curse is forcing something well, yet when Voyboy was in the top lane, CLG was caught standing around turrets. A lot of that has to do with Shen very early on in the game not being strong at shoving, whereas Quas can shove very quickly, as can the Lulu. So Curse in general is just a stronger wave clear early on in the game here.
I'm going to keep a little bit of pressure, but like you said, they've backed off it now in mid, not getting what they wanted on the mid turret. A very nice job, as we just saw Quas taking that blue away, but I don't know what he's going to be able to do with it other than farm right now. Now to the mid lane, CLG looks like they're going to have good control onto this. Splitting this open will definitely help them get a little bit more control on the map that Curse has been holding on to, but they're going to do it little by little.
Slow and steady for these guys. Dragon coming up very soon. I think if it continues to be a trading of farm between the two teams, CLG looks to be the ones that scale much more aggressively, so they're actually fairly comfortable playing this little game of cat and mouse. Having the ultimate evolution onto Dexter is very beneficial. Despite him actually being a level behind I Will Dominate, it's going to be incredibly key for him to dodge damage in this upcoming fight. If they fight, they might just give this away to Curse. The Renekton and Lulu are extremely strong in this mid-game team fight.
Curse getting some great early positioning on it. Voyboy takes a hit. Here comes the ult. Stand United in onto Dexter. Is he going to make it, though? Yes, Nian is in the fight, and it looks like they're going to try to get this one down strong. Dominate is and everybody in the pit is on Nian. They're trying to get the focus down, but not enough damage to really secure any of the kills. Afromu just on the edge. Can he thread the needle? Gets the flay in, gets himself in range for the hook, and he hits it through the turret. Nian is there to help finish off the kill as well, but they're still trading back and forth. Quas in double lift now. 2v1 as Bunny Fufu almost gets into range. Link is in a bad spot. They're baiting themselves back into this fight, and they actually couldn't find a good exit from the start.
And a triple kill comes in for Quas, plus the mid turret for Curse. And they got the dragon. That fight was an absolute catastrophe for CLG. Check out this for Curse. They are so strong in this with the Renekton and the Lulu ultimates. Watch how Link burned all his burst onto Voyboy, and they hit the Super Mega Death Rocket, and they still didn't drop him. Meanwhile, on the other side of the fight, Quas is an absolute monster. CLG cannot chase down these kills very effectively, and they actually overcommit to get Voyboy here. Look at how low they are, as Quas has Karma Shield flying in. An amazing Culvamik when he flies in there with his Q for Quas, and he could just rip down the rest of CLG. Curse, much stronger in the mid game. They recognized it, forced the dragon, and then CLG took the bait.
And it was a great job. Cop the whole time had gone mid. Where's that mid turret? It is a pile of rubble right now.
Yeah.
Curse really moving off the ball in that fight and getting what they wanted. Bloodthirster's not finished there, but Cop gets himself back up in CS and an assist to start matching with where Doublelift has got himself.
Yeah, it's incredible how much gold COG lost in that last fight. Every single thing that could have went wrong pretty much did.
This is where we question, though. We said Curse may try to take too much after they get a little bit.
Yeah.
May this be that point? Because now they feel quite strong, and that's going to play into your next engagement.
Well, at this point, Quas can become an absolute menace on Renekton, but he only has until about 30 minutes to 35 minutes for that to really take effect. Meaning Curse will then have to continue to press this on. They're already doing quite a good job of pressuring. They have very good wave shove, and they have again proven that when CLG does go for a fight, they get obliterated. So they should absolutely use that. And I think Curse should actually feel fairly confident over diving right now and trust their instinct, because they're strong enough ahead, and they need to force this on CLG to prevent a comeback.
Well, they're in great position to do that. You can see him parallel with that top lane, just continuously entering through the brush, and it made Link have to go all the way back to the second tier. Pink wards in that top side of the jungle for CLG. They're not really using them right now. They're just trying to get what they want, and then they will react.
Oh, smart move right there. Quas was freezing the wave ahead of them so minions couldn't get to the turret. CLG got it anyway, but that means the top inner falls for CLG as Curse continues the offensive.
And this is where those wards may come into play. Walking over quite a bit of vision here, but I don't know if CLG can do anything about it. Now to the bottom lane, a good push from the end.
Red buff steal.
Yeah, they're pretty much doing what they have to keep themselves even par with what's happening.
Yeah, 4,500 gold in the hole right now. Nien really needs to continue this assault, actually. His split pushing is going to be absolutely critical in CLG's quest to stall this game out. They're going to probably make it out just in time. Oh, that was close. Cobb sensed that they were in there. Threw in the Peacemaker, and they were gone.
I'm waiting for CLG to turn back on that rotation strategy.
Well, it's tough now, is
Yeah.
the problem. You know, all the a lot of the rotations have already happened so far, with 9 turrets actually falling across the map. Most of it's just been, instead of rotational matching, just rotational trading for these guys. And Curse has been shoving the waves better. Really, the sole determining factor in this gold lead was that catastrophic dragon fight, where CLG got destroyed, and Quas ended up picking up 4 kills. CLG really needed to play that one smarter. They knew they had the late game strategy, but once again, you know, maybe this is one of those situations where they wanted to see what they were capable of, and they ended up going into a situation that they could not handle.
Never leave Curse out of it. I think it was Dyrus most recently saying that's the wild card team that you can't really kind of sit back on. It's a game you definitely have to worry about because they are going to pull out all the stops. And right now against Counterlogic Gaming, they're looking better than they have in any of their games.
You gotta remember, CLG had a little fun with their bans in this one.
This is true. They put
Ends
themselves
up
in hard
giving
mode.
Voyboy Lulu. That hasn't necessarily been the deciding factor, but it is a definite point of strength. Having Lulu in the mid lane has really kept Link confined to the space in the mid lane and not allowed him to roam on that block.
Usually one of his favorite things to do on the side of Voyboy, get those Moby boots on his champions and go hard. No, Dexter towards the bottom side, just gets himself an Evo on. He's going to head back. Oh, it wasn't Evo, he's just yelling. Slowly but surely, looks like they may try to get some hook and bait in here onto Nien. We'll see if he bites.
Like the last 4 minutes have actually been very good for CLG. They were down 4,500 gold, now they're down 3.7k gold. And Renekton does have the Sunfire Cape, but the clock is approaching that 35-minute mark. You know, once Doublelift has a good set of items, probably Phantom Dancer and a Last Whisper, the Renekton will cease to be as threatening.
Talked about that safety. Nien will also be able to provide for Doublelift so he can get into the fights, but a third dragon now is what we're focusing on here. 17.5 into the game. Curse getting that for themselves as well. 3 for 3 on this matchup. Now a 5,000 gold lead is what they're looking at, and they're going to go ahead and Looks like they don't even lose top half of their jungle either. CLG is going to walk out.
Curse is really dictating to CLG the objective game, which is very out of character for CLG this split. It's almost like the old CLG is coming back for this game. Before the acquisition of Dexter and their success this season, CLG, when they've struggled, it's like double lift on a hyper carry. It was like an Orianna mid lane and a Shen top, and everyone was shielding double lift and just letting them farm and take it to late game. And then other teams would get objectives and basically do to CLG what Curse is doing right now as they continue to push him into with 5.
Great damage going on to the backside. They're able to get a few hit there on the AoE. Cop taking down the turret. Great long-range damage from Caitlyn, and Curse knew exactly what they wanted to do with this composition. They can get as close as they want and still get out safely with all the speed they have.
Yeah, it's a matter of not letting Yen get too much damage on their side turrets. It was smart of CLG to not go for that last dragon just because they had already fallen into a disadvantage. But still just roaming around for Curse. It's a very interesting game for CLG because I feel like they went into it just with their picks and bans, not taking it as seriously as they should. And I feel like League is such a momentum-based game, even from game to game and week to week. The confidence of playing well as a team, they're going to lose that if they walk into this game and aren't able to come back. It'll be 2 losses in a row for CLG. And I know they can justify it to themselves, you know, oh, it's just these games don't technically matter, but they really do. And in talking with some CLG matters, they completely agree, but it's difficult for them because it's in the back of their mind that these games don't actually have a full impact since their spot in third is solidified.
Yeah.
It's a dangerous thing to fight.
Curse is definitely looking to take a bite out of that as well if the mentality is there to be seen. As we come up on 20 minutes, a few core items have been finished, but Curse is really letting up on the pressure they've recently had. It's been about 5 minutes of Curse just kind of farming, going ahead and grabbing up Dragon, which is good for them. They're keeping themselves in the lead. But a middle game team fight could almost equal out all the little things you've got as an advantage in the early game.
Yeah. Really tracking the strength of Quas right here. But for that, Curse actually has to force a team fight.
Right.
CLG is laser focused right now and continuing this split push.
Soaking up experience right now before they even want to approach each other in this matchup. Yen split pushing in the bottom lane, so graceful in his environment here. He's backing them, so he'll be back for more. We'll be sure to hit that up. Quas, level 12, and he's actually level 12 on Yen, so everybody's pretty much staying par with the levels in this game. Like we said, the farm would be a little bit lower, but everybody's done a great job at kind of adapting to how you share the CS within these matchups. Remember in the Challenger Series last night, we saw this happen to a very big extent in the 2v1 push, and at 18 minutes, people had 50, 60 CS. Looks like Curse and CLG have figured out a way to distribute all the experience, though. And that's 4,000 or 5,000 gold, and what Curse has found while doing that in their adventure here.
Yeah. Curse really needs to find a way as well to just confine CLG to a spot. Right now they feel like they have him, which is why they're charging so heavily in one direction.
As the teleport, the flash, Glitterlance was just used. He tries to get help, picks on the hook, comes in, but the pocket is not there. Maybe CLG now coming in from the side. They may re-engage. Quas gets the taunt, and he is going to throw down Dominance. Dexter comes in from the back, is forced to ult defense out, and he may be able to get back in. Cop falls. We already have Afro moved down on the fight as well, and it looks like they are going to keep trying to chase. That was a huge hit coming in from Double Lift, and they are going to keep going one after the other. Dexter with the flash, Dexter with the triple coming in on Kha'Zix, looking for the quadra. The chain does not hit, nor does the spikes, and he flashes away Quas to safety. CLG, that's the fight we were talking about in the mid-game.
That fight is exactly what CLG needed. You could tell that Curse was just not knowing how to get a fight onto CLG, so as soon as they saw them together, they dove in incredibly hard. Boy flashed and used everything just to start this one, but they really just got Double Lift low, and yes, they killed Afro, but everyone else was fairly low. Dexter got a flank on a Cop, which was incredibly critical, and honestly, this last little tick of damage was huge, and even though he didn't get all the kills, watch Double's play at the top of the map there. Never mind, Baron. They get that too.
Baron indeed. It's because Quas was trying to go hard on that one, but they make him into a new pair of shoes. The Croc is down. Voyboy picks up in the end. So they do lose one of the Barons on that. A few of the Barons, I should say.
No, I think that's what CLG needs to pull ahead in that game. Even though they just lost 2, I think they're winning by a fair margin right now. Despite being 2,000 gold down and down 6 turrets to 4. Just their performance in that last fight, knowing their late game potential, and knowing how well they stalled being down just 5,000 gold. means they can just continue this, and it is actually on Curse to continue to force, whereas CLG can just sit back and wait for Curse to make a mistake.
Beautiful job getting Baron so quick there, even with the pressure of Quas. Now they can kind of breathe a sigh of relief, but they still got to get off their own front step here. They got a good push towards the mid. We see the top and outer 3 turrets are down, I should just say, for both teams. 6-4, and top lane may now be a focus for the team with Nien in the bottom lane.
Honestly, though, if CLG has an exact Dragon Timer, or even a very good approximation, they could get this, as long as they group up and don't just have one guy ahead of the rest.
Oh, that's big! Very nice save for the repel. Tries to get back to dodge out the Q on Dominate. He does, but still gets taken down, and that's exactly what Curse needed to do to get themselves a few more kills.
Sloppy game for CLG. You can tell that they have a team composition that is able to beat Curse, but they are not executing. Going in for the first Dragon fight, they got themselves in a whole bunch of trouble. Going in for this one, Link was just a mile ahead of the rest of the team. Obviously, I have to credit Curse for that weight in the brush, but as far as the Dragon actually being up, Link didn't have to go that early.
Could be a lot of damage they're going to have to put on the Croc here. He actually slices towards, doesn't decide to go over the wall. Both of them can gap close it, so he needs his teammate right away. Quaz still going in. Dominus is about to wear off, and he's going to take a good amount of damage here in this fight. It's not like he loses much. Just that AoE damage. They're gonna help him out. Whoa, Rocket coming in from the side. Double it out of nowhere as he emerges from the bush. But then I believe he gets hit up for a little bit of damage. They're still following through as Nien's health bar that got chunked out hard there. Aframu also a sliver of health as Double Lift is saying, don't worry, I got your back, bro.
Hey, it ends in a 2-for-1 for CLG, so they end up getting a fair bit back. Not the worst of times for CLG. Still, looks a little sloppy in the execution. They're going to try to shove down this turret because everyone on Curse's back.
Jinx not going to have any trouble with this turret, making quick work. 10-8. CLG starting to pick up the kills, starting to close that gold gap. 25 minutes in the game. That's all right.
Kind of defeats the purpose.
Don't get yourself killed.
He wants it. Got it.
Afro's like, nope, I don't have another lantern for you. So the kill potential's getting quite big.
Yeah.
We actually see Link now with the Deathfire Grass. We've seen him go quite crazy in games before. Actually, it was Void Boy. He went crazy in games before, but nonetheless, all LeBlancs go crazy. 42-39, we just spoke a little bit about the gold. It's really starting to even out, which means it's going to be all about how the fingers work and the mechanics in these fights. Last time Dexter went into a fight at that dragon, we saw him get squished. He actually wasn't able to activate his ultimate. A little bit better of a fight, and CLG came out right on top, so it's going to be a tough one coming in here. Definitely CLG's game now not to lose with Baron.
It really feels like it, you know, even though they're down 2,000 gold, it's actually a really good skill to practice, is just playing from behind here. CLG has been in similar situations to Curse this year even. Oh, Afro gets caught out as well by himself.
Oh, okay, so they are going to go in for this. That was a lot of back and forth, but they choose to go at each other's throat. Nian's going to be the first one going down as the focus is on a bunny boo-foo from Dexter. They're going to turn back on the fight. Cop does not know he's right there, and he gets a startled surprise, trying to take down Dexter. The headshot was the next one to proc out, and the red buff keeps him in line to get killed. Boy Boy's going to get up here. Now this is big. A nice Peacemaker coming over the wall. Cop very low on mana, but has that red buff. They could get double lift on this. Tries to turn the fight around. Gets the hook from Aframu, but it's not enough. And they bring in the quadra kill for Cop. Put down the authority.
Just like that, Curse might be back into control. This game has been very back and forth, Riv, and that was an initiation that CLG should not have taken. They were caught out, and then Yen came in for the save. This should have been a burn Shenov and a see you later by them, but they saw the teleport, they thought they could turn, and then Yen doesn't really do much. He comes in, taunts Quas, which didn't do anything, and CLG is just split up. Their dive is now gone. Dexter is in a full retreat, so it is literally just the CLG backline dealing with a monster Croc. Yes, they took him down, but at what cost? Their entire front line is gone. And here, since the entire fight was chaotic, they're tunneling onto kills a little bit here. Afro and Double tried to make another play because Double was dead to rights. It was support being a nice friend, trying to help out, but the hook overextended Aframu and allowed Cop to finish off the rest of the kills. That's a scary game.
Goes from, I believe, 2-1-3 now to 6-1-3. That would be a 2 because he got an assist on it. Inside the park home run for Cop. 15-10, 28 minutes on the board, and it looks like they have, again, spread that gold lead, and they're going to use it. Running down the bottom lane, going to get a great clear on here from Cole the Meek and the Glitter Lance. It's going to have to be CLG now adapting to what Curse is doing. Like you said, such a back and forth game. We haven't even hit 30 minutes.
Yeah, but I actually don't feel like this is back and forth for the right reasons. I feel like CLG is playing very sloppy. They made some very nice plays to get back in the game. Then they've just gotten rid of them by making poor decisions. Curse is trying to strangle CLG here and control them into their base now that Cop has gotten that quadra kill. But I think the story is the same as it was about 15 minutes ago. CLG wants to maintain a split push threat. As long as they can keep their inhibitors up, their late game should prevail. It's still only a 4,500 gold lead, and CLG is still in a position where they can win.
Looks like they're roaming right up top behind Link, but I don't think they have any vision on him just yet. He stays safe, thinking everybody's coming up top, and it looks like they're going to need to get some wards down if they really want to get this push back on. 19 seconds on Baron, 40 seconds on Dragon. Curse is actually hovering this spot quite hard.
Yeah, at this point, Cop is, amongst the chaos, played extremely well. He has not been the one out of position. He has not been the one caught out ever. And the late game Caitlyn is absolutely fantastic against here, since Shen is the only one diving on him, and if he can cut through Shen, it's pretty much over. Not to mention, the headshot procs kill this extra fast.
Yep.
So this could be it's a very smart Baron take here. It's going to be a steal chance for Dexter.
Does not get it. Dominate. So clutch on all of his smites throughout this spring split. Does it again, pulls out. That hurts.
That's Lulu. Right there is the experience.
It's a little taste of purple
Right there,
for
but
you.
honestly, tons of credit to Curse's team for always securing objectives. I cannot remember a Baron or a Dragon that has gotten taken away from them. They spike damage at just the right time, and since they have now killed the jungler threat with the Baron buff, they could very well push on for a huge advantage here. They probably have caught CLG in the base, and CLG can't realistically defend this.
They cannot indeed. Inhibitor turret goes down. We just hit 30 minutes, and Curse is knocking on the front door of the base. The flash on a double lift. Oh, he was not close to getting killed there. Great save by Afromu. Curse Quastati had it, but this might be the initiation they want. With that damage on the double lift, he cannot fully get into the fight, so it is going to prevail. It gives Curse the advantage they need, and with the inhibitor down, they're going for Nexus turrets.
Nien flash taunted into a 4v5 right there and was adequately killed. Curse will just go out with the inhibitor, though, because there are still 4 people alive for CLG, but huge advantages gained for Curse.
I was thinking that would be crazy. They were staying without a minion wave, so they do back, get a good amount of kills for themselves, but now this is what they have to think about. Is this going to be Dragon for them and back? They have Baron. It's so big for them to be in this spot, especially with the way the beginning of the game went. Curse has been able to thwart CLG every time they've gotten that fight to bring them back in. That's like 2 in a row for Curse now, though. 2 of those big fights.
Yeah, and they can continue doing this as long as Quas continues to do work in the front line as he has been doing. Him alone, pretty much, like with the shielding of Carmen Lulu, is keeping the entire CLG lineup at bay. Just the giant Renekton going in there and stunning double lift pushed everything back for CLG, which allowed them to get that inhibitor fairly cleanly. Add into the fact that they've actually picked up a Locket of the Iron Solara and I will dominate just for a little bit extra shielding. It's making it very difficult for CLG to cut through. It's actually really interesting how CLG's defeat yesterday to Cloud9 was against the Lulu Karma. The shields coming out from the mid lane and support are just messing with CLG's focus a little bit in these team fights, and they cannot get down the targets they would want to prioritize.
Dexter seemed to be a little chaotic when he goes into the fights. We've seen the Dragon fight
really
I mentioned before without hitting his ult. He's gone for a lot of heavy damage too with the Last Whisper Lizard, throwing that just the Giant's belt in as he's trying to stay alive for a few more seconds in these fights. Curse now to the top lane. They're trying to do this one slowly and methodically because they know CLG can come back at any point in time.
CLG's trying to get a catch right here.
They're going to get what they want. Dominate goes down. It plays right into the hands of Counter Logic Gaming. That's only a step back. CLG still needs more. They are looking for it. This is Dexter going in. Wow, there's the save again from Afromu, and Nien is trying to be a meat shield on the front line as they don't know whether they want to go in or not.
Yeah, well, they got one. Now they have to retreat because that's still 4 people with a Baron. And they did just take down the jungler. It was a nice move by CLG, though, waiting to catch Curse because they probably could not have withstood a siege or a dive with an exposed inhibitor. That was the one way CLG could stall this game like they need to. That is a very dangerous double golem to take, but he gets it.
It's not a red buff. He'll be all right. As long as he stays away from the buffs. Oh, I thought it was going to be the LeBlanc. It is double if this time. They want to try to get as much area clear on that turret as possible, but he stays, trompers up, keeps it safe.
When possible, Cop needs to land ace in the hole onto LeBlanc, because with the double lift ace, he can lifesteal up a fair bit off of minion waves. As you can see, he's almost back towards full health here. COG desperately trying to clear these waves off, though, as the siege hits. Now imagine if this was a 5-man siege with an Elise. That's why that catch was so important for CLG.
Cop on the outside, but here comes Dexter. Oh, the submarine onto Cop. The Cop's gonna come out next, but they get the wild growth on. Will it be enough? A Glitter Lance goes through first, just after a move, but he does go down. Curse is now able to reassess the fight, and it's only Nien they have in their eyes. Look at CLG's health bars. They are bleeding to death right now.
Like a nice force right there, but Nien never made it into the fight. We'll see what happened there. Curse pushing at the inhibitor. That looks like another inhibitor down for Curse.
Wow. Very methodical play, not putting themselves in a dangerous position, and they take down another inhib, slowly taking control of the entire map, and the teleport comes in from Quas. The bottom lane is going to get the same treatment.
Yeah, red inhibitor respawn. They're trying to get that one down. They're just brute forcing with their incredibly potent front line and massive amounts of shield. CLG on their back foot.
So much poke these guys have. Dominate can get himself in, out with a repel if he needs to. You can see everything coming in from Bunny Fufu on the Qs, Cops, Peacemakers, and only really the zap to answer with on the way back out.
Baron buff now gone for Curse, but inhibitors destroyed. Cop another incredibly powerful performance on Caitlyn.
He's 50 CS behind too, not meaning much. Doesn't
Got
tell the
kills.
story. Got all the kills. 5, 4, and 9 from Voyboy in the mid lane. 6, 3, and 7 from Quas in the top lane. Definitely doing his part, even though he fell behind early in the game. He's been doing a great job split pushing and really working off the ball is what Quas does best for the team. They're now trying to poise and get themselves ready to take down this last inhibitor turret. It's not going to be much for CLG to work with if this falls, so they have to make a last stand.
Yeah, very difficult stand here for CLG. They have so many super minions piling into their base. Even if they do find a fight, they will have a limited amount of time to actually fight before the minions would kill their Nexus turrets. So Curse needs to pretty much just stay here until COD does something.
Half HP from just one ace in the hole. Link still wants the Deathfire Grasp hit. Cop gets himself out of range immediately. All the focus of utility goes to Cop. The shields, the wild growth, and then he focuses his sights onto Counter Logic Gaming. Double lift as well from the 80 carry position, trading back a bit of that medicine, and now 19 to 12. Curse cannot
there's the Nexus
what
turret
they
too.
want, but they get a Nexus turret, so it's even more than they want apparently. Another one goes down as CLG was tunneling on saving just the inhibitor.
It's exactly what Curse wanted by sticking around there. They're just brute forcing down this turret right now. See how much they can get. This could be a Curse victory.
A game of chaos was the name, and Curse was able to control it the most. The perfect chaos, if you will, as they come out with a win over Counter Logic Gaming.
Yeah, and even though it may seem inconsequential, that is a huge move for Curse to win this game. They have just knocked out a top 3 LCS team, something that has not happened for quite some time here in North America. Curse, that gives them so much confidence coming into the end of Superweek and the start of the playoffs, especially if they win their first round and get a second round matchup against one of the top 3.
What a great team play coming out. Set themselves up in positions where they could get themselves back in the game more than one time. Not many teams get any chances to pull themselves back into the game. First created that numerous times. Voyboy back to the Lulu with that first pick. Fans from CLG, maybe it was what they wanted.